Get ready to have your minds blown. I just bought an amazing coin collection and we're going to be going through the silver dollars. We have 4 albums. Let's see what's inside. Hey collectors, thanks for watching. I'm the collector of coins, and that's right, we're continuing going through this massive coin collection I purchased. Today we're going to be going through silver dollars. We got 3 Morgan albums and 1 Peace Dollar album. There's a lot of great stuff inside. So why don't you kick back and relax, subscribe to my channel if you're not yet a subscriber, and give this video a thumbs up and share if you're inclined. All right, now we got a lot of stuff to go through, and in particular we're going to be looking for VAMs. We have the top 100 VAM book right here, and we're going to look at all the various coins. Now the collector did put placeholder coins. There isn't an 1881 CC, unfortunately. However, that's a Carson City there. There are other Carson City coins in these albums. That's the 1878 Carson City. All right, I'm going to get these opened. We're going to take a look one at a time. Most of these are in circulated condition. There are a few in uncirculated. We're going to be evaluating condition as well. I'll bring you in coin by coin if there's something cool to see. We're not going to look at every single coin together. We're going to look at the special ones. And in particular, we're going to look to see varieties, if there are any VAMs or error coins. All right, these 2 are from 1878, the first year the Morgan dollar was produced. This one is the 8-tail feather variety. That one right there is the 7-tail feather variety. I'm going to put each underneath the microscope so you can look at the feathers with me. All right, so with the 8-tail feather variety, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are 8-tail feathers. And with the 7-tail feather variety, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's basically how you can tell them apart. The 8-tail feather variety looks to be in AU condition. There's some wear on the high points. The 7-tail feather variety looks to be uncirculated. I would say that's MS61, possibly MS62. There aren't impairments. However, there isn't the luster that you would expect. Now that might be because it was sitting in an album for so long. This collection was assembled in 1980 or earlier. This still has some luster despite being AU. It's unfortunate there's some wear. However, the AU coin, and let's just say that's AU 55 because it still has a lot of detail. That's about a $200 coin, whereas the 7-tail feather variety, and I'm going to have to check what reverse it is. There are 2 reverses, one with, let's see, a reverse of 78 versus reverse of 79. Let's assume this is the reverse of 78, and I'll look at it again just to confirm that it is, and if it's not, we'll bring it back in. The reverse of 78 in MS62 is roughly worth $130. Okay, this one is the reverse of 78, 1878, and mainly because of the size of the arrow over here, the quill. It's small, it's flat. The reverse of the 79, it's wider and on an angle. All right, so this is a 7-tail feather reverse of 78. Now let's check for VAM varieties. So as we're looking at the 7-tail feather variety, I noticed that there is some doubling in liberty. Now, there is a doubled liberty with the 8-tail variety that's in the VAM 100. This might be a lesser VAM, at least one that's not in the top 100, to do a little more research. So this looks like this is the VAM 86 variety. 1878 7-tail feathers, reverse of 78, VAM 86, doubled liberty. Let me look up the value on that. Well, based on, if I'm correct, this coin would be worth between $350 and $400 in MS62. Even at AU, it's worth like $200. This coin is worth sending out to get graded to get attributed. So I think I will send this to PCGS. All right, well, with the 8-tailed feather variety, I don't see what I would consider any VAM, but I'm going to send this out to get graded. It still has some nice luster. Maybe what I'm seeing is where it could be a weak strike. Although I do think this would go for AU, maybe AU 55. At AU 55, it's worth $190. AU 58, $260. So definitely, I think worth sending out to get graded. All right, well, I'm taking a chance. These coins might have been dipped. They do kind of have a dullness to them, but I think it's worth the risk. We'll find out in a future video. All right, we have two more from 1878. This beauty is from San Francisco, and this specimen is from Carson City. They're in really nice shape. That looks uncirculated to me. I don't see anywhere on any of the high points. Even has some proof-like appearance. I don't know what the dirt is, but it could be just weird toning from being in an album for so long. This one, I don't believe has been cleaned. Possibly has been. I don't know. There's some luster still. I mean, it could be just weird toning. This one also looks uncirculated. We'll check for varieties as well, and we'll check for values. Well, this 1878 from Carson City grades MS61, that would make it like a $480, no, about a $440 coin. I think it's worth sending out to get graded, even if it ends up being cleaned. Well, if this comes back MS62, it'd be worth 115. If it gets the proof-like designation, which I don't think it will, but if it did, it would be worth about $190. This one I'm going to send out to get graded. It's a really nice specimen. Here we have a really nice looking 1879. I would also say MS, quite possibly MS63. MS63, it's around $140. I'm tempted not to send this one out. It's more common, and I think this one may sell better raw. All right, we have another Carson City here. 1878 Carson City. This one, I think it's in VG to fine condition. Let me study it a little bit more. All right, we're looking at a very fine 25 example, worth around $195. I will not send this one to get graded. This one will sell in this shape because people look for it to complete their albums. We have a nice looking uncirculated 1879S. Great luster, really great shape, although it has a fingerprint on it, and I can assure you it's not from me handling it. This is what it looked like in the album. However, in this shape, this is like a $100 coin. So I'm going to flip it up. This will not be going out for grading. The album also had an 1879 from New Orleans VF30 condition. Maybe worth about $60. All right, we're looking at the next three. 1880 from Philadelphia. I believe that is from New Orleans, and that's from San Francisco. This looks AU. MS62, maybe MS63 on that one. San Francisco minted Morgans generally have a better strike. New Orleans has a weaker strike. So quite a nice specimen. This one's actually well struck. So maybe both MS63 considering how the strikes go. But we're going to look for VAMs as well. I'll pull you in if there are any. Otherwise, I'm going to flip them up and then look at the value. If the value is over like $200, I will send it out to get graded. All right, well, the 1880 from New Orleans might be worth sending out to get graded. At MS60, it's 169. MS61, it's 182. MS62 goes up to 228. And MS63 goes up to 682. I'm going to revise my view. It's probably going to get an MS61 or MS62, but I think it's worth sending out. Next coin we're looking at is an 1880 out of Philadelphia. This is an extremely fine 45 condition. All right, so we're looking at the date, looking for any varieties. There is a knob 8, which die break through the first 8, which this is not. There would be a spikes over the second 8 variety, look like little devil horns. This does not have that. This is not the overdate variety. I don't see any of the signs of the 7 behind that second 8. So this is looking like a regular 1880 Philadelphia Morgan, which I think is probably worth about $50 in this shape. Let me take a look real quickly. And let's see, this is a EF45. That's about a $50 coin. This will be flipped up. We have a really nice looking 1881 for New Orleans with some toning. Probably also on MS62, quite possibly MS63. Let's take a look at the value of that MS63. Well, about $122. This is nice looking, although to be honest, I am not going to send this out to get graded, but still a really nice looking coin. Meanwhile, we have an 1881 from Philadelphia. This looks like very fine 35, maybe closer to XF. Let's just treat it as very fine 35. Be a little conservative here. Not a super valuable coin, worth about $50. All right, well, this Morgan is in a bit of rough shape here. This is in fine, say F12 condition, 1880 out of San Francisco, worth around $38. This one I'm not going to flip up. I'm going to put this in a roll of where I basically put loose dollars for people to sort through and purchase individually. All right, next coins out of the album are two really nice looking coins. This is from 1881, San Francisco. Reverse is somewhat proof-like. Obverse, not quite the same. MS63 in my mind, at least. And then we have an 1882, lots of detail. Look at that, wow. Nice luster remains. This is out of Philadelphia. You can see all the breast feathers. Some mirror-like appearance on the reverse. Possibly an MS64. Really nice coins. This 1881, not quite proof-like, but I would say probably around a $80 coin. This one's probably around a $100 coin. These will be flipped up. I'm not sending these out to get graded. As I'm looking at this 1882 some more, I see somewhere in the high points, so this is probably an AU58 coin. So we have an 1881 New Orleans that just came out of the album. This is in VG8 condition, around $35. So this will go in the loose bin of Morgans. Really nice looking pair of 1882s. That one's from New Orleans. This one's from San Francisco. I would say both are in MS62 condition. Fortunately, some fingerprints here. I'm going to use some acetone to see if I can remove the fingerprint without damaging the surface of the coin. So they're worth about $80 each. I'm going to check for VAMs first. Well, I decided to use MS70 instead of acetone. MS70 removes surface contaminants, which these coins definitely had, considering that they were in an album for so long and in a dirty place. As you can see, it did not remove the toning. It removed most of the debris that was on it, which was basically this light, dirty film. I think from the album that it was in. But these are not high-end Morgans, fairly common, so these will go in flips. At least I got the fingerprint off. And yeah, we'll take a look at the next set of coins. Listen, I did a video on MS-70. I'll put a link to it down below if you're interested. Well, we have an 1883 out of Philadelphia that's circulated. This is in VF30 condition, I'd say. This will go into the bin of loose Morgans in this shape, worth around $35. Meanwhile, we have two other coins from 1883. This one is from New Orleans, and this one is from San Francisco. I'll take a look at the prices in a moment. The 1883 from New Orleans, I would say, is an MS62, worth around $80. The 1883S, however, it's got a smaller mintage, 6.2 million, still pretty healthy. I'd say that's in maybe XF40 condition, worth around $100. These will be flipped up. This one looks like it's been harshly cleaned, by the way. I don't know if you can see the surface scratches that are going crisscross and diagonal. Well, we got two pretty common Morgans, an 1884 to Philadelphia in XF condition, and an 1884 out of New Orleans. This one's a MS63, it looks like. Worth about $80, worth about $50. All right, we have two pretty valuable coins from 1884. This, which I think is an AU condition, is an 1884S. Actually, maybe an XF condition. In XF condition, it's around $200. In AU 55, it's worth $1,000. I need to study this a bit more. Here's an 1884 Carson City in very fine condition, I would say. In very fine condition, let's see, I think this one's worth maybe about $250. I'm just going to double check that right now using the gray sheet, which is what dealers use. Let's see. Yeah, about around $250 for that. This will be flipped up. This I'm going to spend a little bit of time on. I'm really contemplating this coin because the obverse looks AU50. Unfortunately, the reverse has a lot of wear on the breast, making it look like an XF45 to me. And the reverse can only hurt a coin, and the difference in value is quite a lot when you go from XF to AU. Still on XF, a $200 coin. It was contemplating using MS70 to try to get some of this debris off of it, but I don't want to do that if I'm going to send that in to get graded. Very tempted to, though, see what this looks like, but I am leaning towards this is probably, if I did send it out, it's probably going to get at best an AU50, $460 coin, at worst an XF45, a $200 coin. This might do better just in a flip for someone to pick up for their album. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take a chance at sending this out to get graded. I prefer this getting an AU grade, but I don't see it getting AU. It is that. It's definitely AU on the obverse, definitely XF on the reverse, and this will hurt the grade. All right, so we have this really nice uncirculated 1885 from Philadelphia. Again, MS62, worth around $80 in this condition. This will go in a flip. I will check to see if there's a VAM for this one. I'll bring in if this is a variety. All right, these are the last four from this first album. So we have an 1885 out of New Orleans, which is uncirculated, common date coin, probably MS62. This looks a little better, MS63, except for it's got a scratch on the cheek. It's an 1886 Philadelphia. These I'm going to look up because I think they're a little more difficult. They're both, well, this one's from San Francisco, definitely circulated, very fine. That's out of New Orleans. May have been cleaned at one point. That dirt over there with everything else removed around it bothers me a bit. So it's 1886 out of San Francisco. Let's look at these first, and then we'll look at these. This is one of the better dates, but in this condition, it's worth about $60. This too is a better date coin, 1886, New Orleans. I believe this is in VF35, and in this condition, worth, let me see, I think it's worth around $120. This will go into flip as well. All right, we're going to move on to the second album, 1887 to 1897. A lot of goodies in here as well. All right, we're looking at 1887, P, O, and S, with the S being a better date. They're all worn. None of these are uncirculated. VF30, maybe VF35, XF40. We'll take a look at the values in a moment. Yeah, in these conditions, they're worth basically $50 a piece. Maybe the 1887S is around $55. If it was in better shape, it starts jumping up into the hundreds and multiple hundreds after that. But definitely an affordable coin for someone looking to finish their album. All right, we got a few common date ones here. Actually, 1888s and 1889s. This one, AU55, that's from Philadelphia. XF45, that's from New Orleans. I would say AU55 or 58, that's from Philadelphia. And this is an XF40, VF35, in that range, 1889. Let me check the values. I think these are probably all going to be around $50. Yeah, pretty close. These are 55. This one's close to 80, and that one's $35. So that's going to go in the bargain loose ones. All right, well, we got a bunch from 1890 and a bunch from 1891. This 1890 MS55 is from Philadelphia. Maybe XF45 or XF40, that's from New Orleans. This very fine example that I dropped is from Carson City. So there's some real value in that one. We'll look that up in a minute. We got an 1891. What we got here? AU, Philadelphia, and two 1891. Very fine condition from New Orleans. Now, I looked these two up because I thought these were quite common. However, in this condition, they're worth about $100 each. Let me look up the others real quickly for you. Well, this 1890 Carson City is in very fine 30 condition, worth around $200. Okay, we're coming up on two pretty low mintage coins. They are circulated. We'll pull them out and take a look at what we got. All right, so this 1892 from Philadelphia, I would say this is in fine 15 condition. I'm using a photograde to kind of help me with this. You see them side by side. This one actually might have a little more detail if you're looking at the leaves. Actually, maybe a little bit better than fine 15. Yeah, I think we're looking at very fine 25 on this one. I think that one's closer to XF. Let's take a look. That's from New Orleans, 1892. And let's compare that. This has some more detail in the hairline and less wear. It might be closer to AU. Let's see. Maybe AU53. All right, pretty nice coins. So we will look up their value and see if there are any VAM varieties next. All right, well, as we studied this some more, I've concluded this is a VF30, worth about $60. Low mintage, but in that shape, you can come buy them, and they're great for collectors trying to fill albums with only a million minted. So the 1892 O in AU53 is around $150. That's a nice pickup too. And we did check the 1892 O for the double ear vam, and it was not it. All right, well, we pulled out the last 5 coins in album 2. We'll cue them up over here. We got an 1894 out of New Orleans. 1896, that's a beauty. That's out of Philadelphia. That looks like it could be uncirculated. Another 1896 from New Orleans. Yeah, Philly, New Orleans. This one is definitely uncirculated. See a little bit of wear maybe over here. That might be an AU58, to be honest. Now, we got an 1896 New Orleans. And then an uncirculated 1897. That's beautiful. Out of Philadelphia. So, take a look at some values. We'll look for some VAMs as we've been doing. Pull you in if there's anything interesting. Otherwise, I'll do a summary of the value in a moment. So this 1894 out of New Orleans in VF30 is worth around $80. All right, well, we flipped up an 1897 and MS62. It's not better because of the impairments on the face. Otherwise, it would have been a higher grade. But in this condition, and this is a beautiful coin, it's worth about $80. All right, well, we got 2 coins here, an 1896 and AU58, worth about $60. This 1896 O, which looks like it's an AU55, could be worth about $300. I'm tempted to have it sent out, but I don't know. I'm worried that it may come back with a clean designation. And, maybe someone would want this for an album. Sometimes coins should be kept raw. I only try to send out top high-end coins. This one is definitely a candidate, though. I'm going to give some thought. Okay, well, there is some rim damage. Now, that looks like post-mint damage, probably from coins banging against each other in a bag. But I don't want to take a chance and have this come back body bagged and spend the money on the grading. So, yep, it will stay in this flip. And collectors, here's why condition matters. Here's another 1896 out of New Orleans. And this is in VF35 condition, worth about $65. All right, we're now on to part 3, or at least the third album, 1897 to 1921. And we got a number of great coins in here, some harder to find. No Carson Cities, because the Carson City Mint was not in operation at this time, unfortunately. But there's some low mintage Morgans, like that one. I hope that is the Philadelphia one. It is. Okay, this might be the best coin in this album. I'm going to take a look at these one at a time. All right, these first 3 out of the album are worth about $50 each. 55, 48, 51. Decent coins, and we're going to move on to the next row. All right, well, this 1898 O and MS62 is worth about $80. This 98S and VF35 is worth about $60. And this very low mintage 1899, it is in only fine 15 condition. If it was in better shape, it would be worth a lot more, but in this condition, it's worth around $110. Very low mintage. Really great stuff here. And these 2 are worth about $60 a piece. All right, this 1900 O is about a $70 coin. All right, this 1900 out of San Francisco, I think it's in fine 15. I was bouncing between fine 12 and fine 15. There's some details down here in the hair and some details over here that make me push it up to fine 15. Well, in this condition, it's worth about $48. All right, this 1901 I'm grading as VF25. I did get certified in grading from A&A, but I do also like having a reference, so I'm using PCGS Photo Guide here. I think this is pretty solid, very fine 25. And in that condition, according to the gray sheet, it's worth around $100. All right, this 1901O and 1902 are both an XF45. They're worth around about $60. This 1901S is a better date, very fine 25, worth about $100. All right, this 1902 out of New Orleans and XF45 is worth about $60. And this 1903 MS62 is worth around $110. Okay, so we have two more. We're nearing the end of that album. We got a 1903 San Francisco, which is a better date, and 1904 Philadelphia, which is badly damaged. I looked the value up in this condition without the damage. It's worth about $40, so I'm going to put that into the bin of loose Morgans for people to pull out. However, this 1903S looks like it's in very fine 35. And in that condition, this is a $442 coin. I don't think it's been cleaned. Really hard to tell. Generally speaking, I want to see an even color, even in the cracks. It's either been cleaned a very long time ago or not at all. I'm going to take a chance on that since this is quite a valuable coin. And we'll get that one certified. Okay, well, we pulled the remaining 5 coins out of this third album. We got the 1921 PD and S. We got a really nice looking 1904. It's been polished. Not as nice as I thought. It's out of New Orleans. And a 1904 out of San Francisco. This one may have some more value. This one, XF condition, but cleaned. We'll take a look at it. It's still worth about $50 in this condition, so we'll flip this one up. Okay, well, this one is in very fine 20 condition, but it has a little bit of damage in the wing on the reverse. I was tempted to send it out to get graded because it's pretty valuable coin. However, given the damage, I don't think it will grade. So I'll flip this up and, hopefully the collector will want it for their album like the owner of this coin, prior owner, did. All right, and these 3 1921, they look like low grade, uncirculated, like MS 61 maybe? Arguably AU. Yeah, that's got some wear in the breasts. Let's say these are all AU 58, AU 55 on that one. These are all worth around $50 to $60. All right, and we're moving on to the final album, which is the Peace Dollars, which I think are harder to grade. Now, the 1921 was in there. I already pulled it out prior to making this video to put in a flip to bring to a coin show. But we got a lot of the other good dates in here. So we'll get started on this one shortly. Okay, collectors. Well, I pulled out the 22s, 23s, and the 124 from the first page. PD and S, PD and S. These are not in great shape, to be honest. That's got weird pitting. This could be from, I don't know, PVC damage. I would say that in general, these are XF at best, maybe VF in some of them. They're all worth around $35 to $38. I'm probably just going to sell them loose with other silver dollars and let someone cherry pick through them. Not tremendous high value in this lot, which is fine. We'll take a look at some of the others. Now, this second page has some better dates. We have the 1928, very scarce. Got the 27S, 27D, 26p. So we'll take a look at these, take a look at the condition out of this, and we'll judge if they're worth putting in flips. I don't think any of these are really worth sending out to get graded. All right, better date, better condition. These are worth about $70 each. This one is actually worth quite a bit more, around $350. That's a good date. Not bad. All right, well, we'll move on to the last page. Better dates as well. We got a common 1922 down below. Let's get these out and we'll take a look at the grades. All right, this 1928S, extremely fine 40. Some wear on it on the reverse. Not quite AU, but this is worth about $80. We have an XF and a VF examples. They're both worth around $80 as well, 1934 D and S. All right, we're gonna wrap up this video with these last two coins. They're both from 1935. I believe that's Philadelphia. And that, I think, is San Francisco. I'm gonna put them underneath the microscope just to confirm the mint marks. Yeah, and there we go, 1935 from San Francisco. The other one is from Philadelphia. Let's get these graded. All right, we're looking at $80 in value in this one and $60 in value in the 35S that I graded VF35. Well, collectors, I hope you enjoyed going through these albums as much as I did. I hope you have the best luck in your coin collecting. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.